Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Wolf Talk. My name is Gab Leonetti. I am the Director of Marketing with Wolf Commercial Real Estate. And today we have Adam Fisher with Delaware Valley Paving.
Hi, Gabby. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Adam, let's get into how you started and how you got into this industry.
Sure. So, I was in the car industry for about 10 years. I sold for 2 years, and I was a general sales manager for about 7 or 8 years. And I hit the point in my career where I knew that I was going to become the general manager, but the work-life balance was not great. And
Yeah.
I mean, I still have little kids, but they were really little kids at that point. And I kind of looked into the future. I'm like, is this really what I want to do? And the answer was no. So I decided to make a change and I got out and I went into a completely different industry and have been doing this now for this is my seventh year in the industry.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, how did you get started with Delaware Valley? So, I know that you were with another company previously.
Yes.
That company, obviously, like they're gone now, but how did this come about?
Sure. So I when I left the car dealership, I went to work for a paving company,
Mhm.
and I was there for that year. And I had a great year, but I didn't realize that behind the scenes it wasn't going so
Right.
well. So at the end of the year, unfortunately, they went out of business.
Mhm.
And I was fortunate enough to be reached out to by four different companies over the course of like
It's
four
great.
days off of LinkedIn. And I ended up interviewing with Delaware Valley Paving. It went great, and then they offered me a job. I took it, and now I'm going into my sixth year, and it's great.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
Yeah, that's great. So many of you might not know, but I used to work for American Asphalt, which was a weird situation. We were competitors with Delaware Valley, but then they would also buy material from us at the same time. So
yeah.
it's funny, like we both kind of have like a background in like paving and parking lot maintenance. So going over this is kind of like a little refresher for myself as well when
Yeah.
we talk about maintenance and everything.
It's a fun industry to be a part of.
It is. It is. I do miss it sometimes, like especially when you're working at the plant. Like
Yeah,
in the summertime, like I would have my window open and I would like be able to smell the asphalt. It sounds weird, but it's kind of like a
it's a
cool smell.
fantastic
Yeah,
smell.
it's a great smell.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know. So what does Delaware Valley Paving do as far as like their services? What do you guys provide aside from just like the everyday typical paving that people see?
Sure. So overall, we like to say it's parking lot maintenance and construction.
Mm-hmm.
So think of anything and everything that could ever happen in a parking lot. So we're doing full blown mill and pave work. We are doing site work. We are doing excavation. We're doing seal coating. We're doing potholes. We're doing line striping. We're doing drainage work. If you need storm sewer water put in, we can do that. Everything.
Okay.
Everything. Yeah.
And where are you guys serviced out of?
So we are a national company at this
Okay.
point. Our regional office is in King of Prussia.
Okay.
We have an office in Trenton. We have an office in Wilmington. We've recently opened up a company called Florida Coastal Paving, and that's based out of Tampa. So that's our self-performing arm out of the Florida market.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also just opened up a West Coast office in Salt Lake City. So
Wow.
we have an office in Salt Lake City now to kind of handle all that West Coast stuff.
That's cool. Do you ever have to like travel in
I
between?
hope so.
Uh,
We'll find out.
yeah, right.
There's a lot of properties down in Florida that need to be looked at in February.
Yes.
So,
You're like, send me
oh, I
down.
have to go down again. Oh, shucks.
Darn.
Yeah, yeah,
That's really cool. I did not know that I knew that they were like regional. Like I knew there was a Florida,
yeah.
area, but I wasn't sure that they were like actually national. That's actually really cool.
It's exciting. The regional. So the company's been around since the '90s.
Hmm.
Family owned, great family. It's runs well.
Yeah.
And but over these past 8 years or so, the national footprint has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger
Right.
and bigger. And we've really positioned ourselves well working with some major customers throughout the country
Yeah.
that it just made sense to keep growing and growing and growing. We have a whole, so in King of Prussia now, we actually have our regional office. And down the street, like a mile, 2 miles down the
Hmm.
road, we have a national office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you guys
Hmm.
have really grown since you said the 90s, right?
Yes. I don't
Yeah.
know the exact year.
Yeah,
I know
that's
that there's
okay.
the grandfather started it, the father took over, and now the three sons have taken over. So
Wow.
we're into the third generation of a family-owned
That's
business.
really, and that's like really rare to find. I feel like these days, a lot of times the
Yeah.
kids don't want the business. They'd
Yeah.
rather just cash out and close it down.
Everybody's cashing out.
Yeah.
So to be
And
working for a family-owned company, it's
yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah.
that is really cool. And it's really, again, you don't see it like ever anymore. What do you would suggest for property management? Like what should they be looking for when it comes to their parking lots for owners? what are some, especially now that we're in the winter season, what are some things that they should be looking for right now, and then also like long-term future.
Preventative maintenance.
Right.
Sure. So right now it's just handling the potholes,
Right.
the the areas of the parking lot that are a hazard to customers,
Hmm.
sidewalks, trip and falls, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's also like a liability, especially for
Yeah,
like commercial property. Like if you're look out of, TJ Maxx or whatever, like making sure that those are handled is really important.
yeah. The way it works for us is, I mean, every customer is different, but typically you have the customers that will put their property budgets together in the fall for the projects the following spring. So in the fall, it's a lot of me going out and doing scopes and putting work together to package up and then deliver to the customer so that they can review internally and make a decision what company they want to go with, what project they want to go with. Winter months, it's a lot of business development. It's a lot of just retooling, learning new skills, kind of sharpening,
Right. Yeah.
getting all iron sharpens iron,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then once I would say where are we at, like mid-January right now, probably like
Yeah.
another like 2 weeks, it gets crazy with
Oh, I'm sure.
everybody that's
Because
doing
everybody wants everything right now.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it.
like it's time. Like come
New
on up.
year, new me, new parking lot.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, yes. And
Okay.
that's when it gets really, really chaotic and exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say like is something that, I mean, I know you mentioned like potholes and stuff like that. Um, what would you say if someone has a couple potholes but they have some alligator cracking, which in case you don't know, alligator cracking is all of the it kind of is like where the asphalt is like broken down and it looks like alligator scales. What would you say like if somebody has that but they don't necessarily have the budget to do a complete mill and pave for their parking lot?
Great question. So we have a technology called the infrared truck. And what this truck does is, so imagine you have, so talk to the camera for a second. So you have a truck, we have a truck, we have two of them, where there's a hot plate on the back of it. And that plate lowers down and
Okay.
there's burners all over the plate where you can light up an 8x8 square, a 4x6 rectangle, a 4x4, squares and rectangles. And then it melts, it hovers maybe like an inch over the existing
Hmm.
asphalt. It melts the old asphalt. We'll shovel out the bad asphalt.
Right.
In the middle of the truck is a 3-ton hopper. So we'll go to the plant in the morning and there's burners and it keeps the asphalt hot
Hot.
all day
Right.
long.
Yep. Hmm.
And then we'll shovel in once we've melted the old asphalt. They'll shovel in the new asphalt and then with it like a buggy or a tamper, they'll
Get it down.
compress it so that it creates a seamless edge
Oh, cool.
and it's extremely cost effective to our customers.
That's really good to know.
Yeah. So it might not be in the budget, or they just need, a band-aid to get them through
Right.
the winter before the
Yep.
big project. It's something that runs for us 365 days a
I was
year.
just going to ask if that's something that you guys do in the wintertime.
Yeah,
So
the truck's out every day.
that's great.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And that's interesting because I know that like when I was in the industry, infrared was just starting to like be like this new thing and people were kind of thinking about it. And now it's like
Oh, it's
actually
so
to
yeah,
like
it's so
fruition.
versatile.
Yeah. And that's really great because a lot of times you're dealing with owners or property managers that have a tight budget because they might have to put it into their HVAC unit or they might have to put it somewhere else, but they know that their parking lot needs to get done too. It's just as equally as important, right?
It's typically one of the
So,
last things they want to spend money on.
right, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's kind of nice to know that there is other solutions and things that, Del Val can work with budget and things like that.
Yeah.
What is an issue that if it gets ignored can be a huge expense later on down the line? What is something like you can tell me as many as you want, but what is like the major one that you see all the time with owners and property managers?
Sure. So I'll word it like this. Let's talk about the life cycle of asphalt of a new parking lot. So
Right.
if you have a new parking lot put in today,
Mhm.
and if you do nothing to it, it'll last 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
So with the preventative maintenance, what you want to do is as cracks form over time, what happens is the water will go into the crack and then the freeze thaw cycle that especially we have in this mid-Atlantic area,
Yeah.
especially this winter, the freeze thaw cycle breaks up all the sub base. So when you have asphalt, you have your
Yes.
wearing course asphalt, which is the top of what everybody sees, the nice
Yep.
pretty asphalt.
Hmm.
Underneath that is your base course.
Yep.
And that's also asphalt, which is with a bigger stone.
Bigger stone. Yep.
And then you have your stone base,
Hmm.
which can be anywhere between a foot to 6 inches in depth, and then just the normal sub base earth underneath that.
Right.
But what happens is if those cracks form, water gets in there, disrupts everything. So, yes, to answer your question, you want to get crack filling done to seal those cracks up because if you do nothing, not only when the wearing course has like those cracks,
Yep.
it's not the wearing course that's breaking. It's actually the base course that's
That's
failing
very
underneath.
underneath of it, right? Yeah.
Correct. So what happens is not only are you spending money fixing the wearing course, but you have to do a much deeper cut
Right.
to the asphalt in order to remediate all of the sub base and the wearing course, so that this is something you don't have to deal with in the future.
Okay. That's good to know, especially because, like plants, vegetation starts to
Oh
grow,
yeah.
things can like somehow you get a tree in the middle of your parking lot, like, if you just keep letting it go.
The longer you
it,
wait, the more money you're going to
right,
spend.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? So that
Yeah.
makes sense. And that's part of like grading too, right? Like also getting and making sure that you get down to the root of everything, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
When we
Okay.
go on site, not only do we want to fix the issue, but we want to find out what's causing the issue. Water could be percolating up to the top, so we might have to install under drain and then tie that into a storm inlet that's 50 yards, 50 feet, whatever it is, down at the end of the parking lot,
Right.
to take that groundwater and get it diverted somewhere so it's not
Affecting
affecting
it.
the sub base and the asphalt.
That's very, it sounds crazy, but it is actually very cool to see. I've watched a few paving projects when I was with American, and
Yeah.
it was honestly like being out there and actually seeing what they do and how it works. Like when you're driving on the road, you're passing it and you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're actually there and you're like watching it in like real life,
Yeah.
it's really neat. It is
It's
very,
another industry that if you don't think about it, you don't think about it. But when you're
yeah.
actually in it, you see like how the sausage gets made.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's like one of those things that you should be on that show, like how it's made or
Yeah.
how it works or
Yeah.
whatever. Like it is really
It's a great
interesting.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
See, call me.
Yeah,
Let me know.
and we have about, I think, 18 crews is where we're at right now.
Wow, that's really great.
Yeah, so I think there's 5 paving crews, 2 concrete crews, 1 excavation crew, 3 line striping crews, 2 seal coating crews, infrared crew,
Oh
1 or 2 maintenance crews,
my
and I have no idea what the math equaled out to, but I think it's somewhere around 18.
god. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. What as far as like the striping and all of like the maintenance side of things, what would you say is like when you're putting these scopes together, what's your
Mhm.
favorite project to like work on when you have it?
I guess my favorite project would be to take an old crusty parking lot,
Mhm.
because maybe someone just bought the building
Mhm.
and they want to get new tenants in there, but they know the parking lot looks horrible.
Yeah.
So being able to put together a scope of work that not only is taking care of the surface, but
Mhm.
actually taking care of like all the way down, like we talked earlier
Right.
about, like to
Yep.
the root of the issues, and a full restructuring of the asphalt parking lot. Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's like really neat to see. It's like, the before and after, right? Like seeing this horrible, crappy parking lot to
Yeah.
now seeing something so beautiful
Yeah.
and clean
Yeah.
and perfect lines and fresh. Once that's done, though, what would you say? And I know the answer, but for the people that are watching, what is the life cycle thereafter? So when that fresh parking lot is paved and it's down, it's good, when should they seal coat next?
Okay. Good question. So if you do the proper maintenance with your new asphalt parking
Mm-hmm.
lot, you should be able to get anywhere between 20 to 25 years.
Okay.
So it's seal coating. I mean, some people are like, you should seal coat every year. Some people are
I
like, we don't ever want to do seal coating.
Right.
Every company's different with their
Yeah.
mentality, and they're whatever they want to do, that's fine. We typically recommend getting a property seal coated every 3 to 4 years,
Right.
and that will
Extend the life of the parking lot
correct.
essentially, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yes.
I knew the answer, but I was like, I don't think many people do know that, and I don't
Yeah.
think that property managers know that or understand the why behind it.
Correct.
And it's really important, right? Like asphalt is a huge investment, just like any other, HVAC unit,
Yeah.
electric, like elevators, So all of that they're all very large expenses, but like asphalt is a very large expense, but it's also like extremely important, especially like where we are in, New Jersey.
Yeah.
There's asphalt everywhere and there's new buildings being put up and old buildings being bought. So it's really important to make sure that if you're going to invest in it long term by doing the seal coating,
Yeah.
extending the life of, the asphalt that's already there.
It's funny you say that. So when I got into the industry, I was thinking like, is this a good thing to get into?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, well, think of the world. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's made up of water,
Mm-hmm.
grass,
Mm-hmm.
sand,
Yep.
concrete, and asphalt.
That's
Like that. So it's
that's
like
that's really that's
it's not
really
going anywhere.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Talk a little bit about, because I haven't really dived into concrete. Like, is that something that you also do scope work on?
Huge part of our
Okay.
company.
Do
Yeah.
you do, aside from like, do you do concrete parking lots, or is it more like of the curbing?
Everything.
Everything. Okay.
So to elaborate, um, I mean, I'm just going to rattle it off. So we're doing sidewalks, we're doing dumpster pads, we're doing dolly pads at distribution centers, we're doing stairs, we're doing railings as well.
Oh, that's
New
interesting.
curbs, all the ADA work,
Yes.
American Disability Act,
Yep.
that's what it stands for. So making sure that the properties are up to code with all that. Um, yeah,
That's actually really, I didn't like it's I feel like there's always like paving and concrete, you think that they go into one another, but I feel like sometimes it's also like you always see like them separate too, which is like I never understood why when they kind of do go hand in hand because you still need like ramps and things, especially like ADA compliance and stuff like that when you
yeah,
have a parking lot anyway that's already asphalt. So
yeah.
what's the difference, you
When
know?
we put a scope of work together, we'll typically come in and do the concrete part first, and then let that settle in, and then we'll do the paving work afterwards.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I like learning about that kind of stuff. It's always interesting to see how what gets done first, how it's done,
yeah.
and how it's made.
It's amazing how. So I've been doing this, like I said, for like 7 years
Hmm.
now. Like I'm not a civil engineer.
No,
Like
right.
I can look at plans at this point and kind of get an idea,
Right.
but it's just cool how it's like this like goes from like nothing, just grass and land,
Yeah.
into like full blown construction, and it's all laid out and you can see it on the picture, and then a couple months later when the project's done or whatever the timeline is in the project, you can actually see how it came to be. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
there it is. A fun part of
Right.
So I would say a cool part about my job is how I get to drive down the major roads around here, like 70, 73, and I can be like, my kids are in the back of the car, and I can be like, there's a job, there's a job, there's a job. And, over the years, like a lot of jobs on 70, 73 we've done at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome. And I'm sure that they're pretty excited about it when they see it or no, they don't.
Not as much as you
Yeah.
think. They're in their like tablet world or like reading their books. Like, all
Yeah.
right, Dad,
Yeah.
put the Harry Potter back on. Let's go.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that. Hey, maybe they'll appreciate it later on in life,
hopefully.
right? What would you say, speaking of like 7073, what would you say that is your favorite project or like one that you're really proud of?
There's a couple car dealerships on 70, 73, and 38
Okay.
that over the years have been pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really neat. And that's something like, especially because it's not just no offense, but it's not just like a building or like a
Right.
parking lot that you did. Like it's a brand. There's a
There's
name
a
to it.
very large
There's
Toyota dealership
right.
on 73 that if you were watching this and you know where it is,
Yeah.
you know what it is. Yeah.
Okay. That's really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool. I love that. What is as far as like leading into prospecting and getting business development, what's
Sure.
something that you typically do for your clients or to get new clients that you would like to share with everybody else, especially like some of the younger guys coming in?
Sure. So it's kind of old school, but just pick up that phone,
Hmm.
like look, like drive by property. I see who owns property. I look up company on the website, make a phone call.
Yeah.
Cold calling. Hey, I'm Adam Fisher, Delaware Valley Paving. I was driving by your property. Would love to know who handles it. Would like to be able to put bids together for your properties, and then go from there. Yeah.
I think it's really cool in a sense of like I know you say it's old school, but I don't feel like that's old school, right? Like I feel like that is like the first touch point of prospecting is like the door knocking almost. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? And like I feel like at one point, especially when there was COVID, we all kind of stopped that, right? Like we stopped networking, we stopped doing all of that.
Yeah.
But that's like the best thing about like sales is the FaceTime, right? Like the
Yes.
door to door, the face, the
Yes.
phone call, aside from like the email, the tech, right? The email, the LinkedIn, all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
But that's like important too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm not a jump off the top rope kind of salesperson. It's like, here's who I am, here's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I will get you proposals back faster than anybody you've ever worked with.
Right.
I will, if I'm lucky enough for you to say yes, we'll turn it over to operations. There will not be any issues.
Right.
And then please just let me work on the next project, and then work on the next project. And please tell all your friends within the industry who you've been working with, and just
Yeah.
grow and grow and grow and grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they see how you work, they see how you operate, they like what the product that you put out, and
Yeah.
then if from there it just like blooms.
Yeah.
And it's all relationship building at the end of the day.
100%. You got to
Yeah.
stay in front of people.
Yeah.
Like, here's who I am, here's what I do.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like at this point, and I've made a decent amount of friends
Yeah.
that I talk to that
Right.
aren't just people that I work with, but actually like, hey,
They're
how's
actual
the football
friends
game?
now,
Like,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, and that you
yeah,
actually have like relationships with. That's one thing that like I will say that I've learned from being at American that has been drilled in my head is TOMA, which is top of mind awareness,
Mhm.
right? And it's not just from like a brand awareness or seeing a logo. It's actually from like going to the networking events, going to be in front of people, meeting with clients,
yes,
meeting with people, taking that extra step of like a phone call or a text, like how are you? What's going on in your life? Like
yes,
asking the question that maybe they don't get asked all the time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And you don't realize like sometimes you might have to be that person's sounding board, but you know what? that doing that's going to get you that next job.
100% yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
What would you say is something that, as far as like, especially because now we're in like the new world of tech and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I use ChatGPT all the time. What is Del Val using, or what are you using
Okay.
for your everyday life, business, and what any like new innovations that the team is using?
Sure. So ChatGPT is huge. We actually have a business account, and what's cool about that is you can actually see what everybody's using it for.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So like I'll log in and I can see like there's like 10 new projects that have been created. And it's like, oh, what were other people using ChatGPT for? And from my understanding, everybody putting the information in just gets our ChatGPT bigger and stronger for
Yeah.
to adapt to our needs.
Yeah,
And
and your
that's been cool.
tone, like
Oh
everything
yeah.
else of what you're like expecting, like it
Yeah.
basically becomes like your portal almost in
Admin
a way.
uses it, operations uses
Yeah.
it, sales uses it, everybody's using it.
And it really, if you like search, like you can always search like something,
Yeah.
if you're like, oh, I don't remember what I need to look up or whatever. If somebody might have asked that, now you can go in and you can see like
Yeah.
what they've done, and it makes life a little bit easier, I'm sure,
All of
especially as like
our
a team.
Yeah, all of our standard operating procedures are all in there at this point. From a me standpoint, I am a nerd, geek, whatever you want to call it, about FaceTime.
Yeah.
Using FaceTime has like revolutionized my world. Where property managers are busy, I'm busy, everybody's
Right.
busy.
Yep.
So Cindy might not have a chance to meet me on the property for another 2 weeks, but if I'm driving by and I can call her, like, hey Cindy, I'm on site right now. Can I FaceTime you real quick?
Right.
And at this point, there was a little uncomfortable, but we're getting better. Where it's like, yeah, okay, I'm here now. Flip the camera around. Okay, is this what you're talking about, or this is what I'm seeing? The reason I'm going to propose it this way is because I'm seeing this, and it's so much time saved. It's
Oh,
unbelievable.
yeah.
And then the flip side of that is, let's say we're working with a property and it's an hour away, and there's someone on say, hey Adam, we have a pothole, we have an issue. Can you come take a look at it? I'll tell you what. Are you able to FaceTime me? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Can you go out there and FaceTime me? And
Right.
they're like, yeah. Here's what I'm seeing. And it's like, all right, go right there. I got it. You'll have a proposal in 2 hours.
Right, and it's like real time. So it's like
Yeah, it's
it's
awesome.
so much easier. It takes an hour to 2 hours out of your driving time if it's far,
So
right?
efficient.
It's way more efficient,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Is there anything that Del Val is doing that is like innovative, new, anything that you could share with us?
Sure, there's a couple. We're always take part in there. There's a big pavement convention called PaveX, so we're always there. I know that Eric Fajoli, who is the CEO of the company,
Mhm.
he's one of the guest speakers or moderators this year.
Oh, that's cool. Good for
We
him.
always are. I don't know. We always our equipment is like state of the art.
Yeah.
Like there's not, you don't go to the back of the
Mhm.
warehouse and see the old roller from 1991.
Right.
Like everything is like super up to date. From a technology standpoint, I mean, it's something little. We have something called Hollow Builder.
Mhm.
So if there's a project of a certain size, there is a platform we use, whether it's before, during, or after, where we have project managers or myself walk around with this like little camera thing,
Mhm.
and you click, walk another 20 yards, click, and it takes 360 camera images that you can upload and send to your customers in real time. So it's like, hey, what's the project? What's the where are the progress of this project going on
Right.
right now? I'll tell you what. Give me a couple hours. I'll send you something, and then the customer can click on it and see in 360, like, oh wow, like they're seeing it in real time, and you can see the before and afters. It's amazing.
That's really cool, and that's
Yeah,
like beneficial for you, but it's also beneficial for them too because it's also like a CYA in a way.
correct.
So you're killing two birds with one stone, which is even better.
Yeah.
So they're happy, you're happy, and
Yes.
everybody can move forward from there. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I feel like back in the day, I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, back in my day, but back in the day, it was always like me, Gab, go out and grab those pictures of
Yeah.
the property. I'm like, oh man, I got to stop doing what I'm doing to go out to
Yeah.
5 different locations all across South Jersey and get pictures and then
Yeah.
make sure we have it for. And then half the time, like if it's the crew, they're too busy, they can't do it, so it ends up being a little bit of a pain in the butt. So it's really
Yeah.
cool. I love that idea, and that they can just like get it right then and there,
Yeah.
before, after, the whole thing. That's
We have,
awesome.
I have no idea how much money we spent, but the amount of money we spent probably in the past like 3 or 4 years updating the back end software, our project management software, our CRM, our admin, everything's all web based now, and different like there's so much data and files that come in.
Yes.
So we moved to what's a SharePoint now with
Oh yeah.
Microsoft.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and that's great because then it's like everything I feel like is for me what I do in marketing. Like a lot of people use like Adobe and things like that, but it's not cloud based, right?
Mhm.
Like, and it's not like real time. So we switched over to Canva, which is kind of I feel like SharePoint in a way, but on a design standpoint
Mhm.
is like, if I'm in a project and my research analyst is importing something on Canva that he needs to utilize, and then he wants to go over it with me, if he's in PA, it's a simple phone call and he's showing me exactly on the screen exactly where we need to go and what we need to do. And it makes life like so much easier when it's like cloud based. You can go in there, it's just like Dropbox. It's like
Yeah.
go in there, grab a file, do what you need to do. Streamlining processes is like, especially in today's world, everybody wants something yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So it's super helpful. I appreciate
Technology
that.
is your friend.
Yeah, technology is our friend. That's one thing that we've learned during this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That being said, now that we're meeting towards the end of our little session here, is there any advice that you would like to give to property managers, to owners for the paving season, for this season coming up? What they should be looking for? And I know that the weather has been changing constantly. Anything like that that you can share with us?
If there's any advice, I'd say don't wait. Like, typically the way it works is property managers will start looking at their paving projects, once the winter's over.
Yeah,
But right now we're loading our backlog. So what would be nice is if, like, hey, right now, so like March, April, May, I might have anywhere between 35 to 55 projects I'm working on at any given time.
yeah, it's huge.
But right now I have like 15.
Right.
So if somebody, they reach out a little sooner than they might normally feel accustomed to, it would allow me to kind of take a look at the property and kind of get the ball rolling faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Especially because, like you said, once bidding season's out there, right? Once all your projects are starting up, and
Yep.
then the paving season,
Oh yeah.
it's go time, and
Go
it
time.
gets crazy. I
Yes.
I do remember those days,
Yeah.
running around like a mad woman. Even though I was in marketing, like I was still helping the sales team make follow up phone calls,
Yeah.
do all of the marketing for it, going out to every project, every property. It's crazy, and
Me and that red F-150, we're moving around.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's fun. It gets fun.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
blast. Yeah.
yeah.
It's just it's different. It's just a
Yeah,
different thing. Yeah.
yeah, it is. All right, guys. Well, I think that is the end of our session. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
It was awesome. It was nice to like talk about my roots a little bit and get the feel again. Thank you all for tuning in, and we appreciate you hanging out with us and learning more about Delaware Valley Paving, about Adam Fisher, and more about the parking lot maintenance and paving season.
Thank you.
Thanks.